Hey everybody. So today I'm going to be cleaning up this cassette copy of Black Sabbath Live at Last. Now this is something I got at a thrift store a while ago and I'm just now taking a deeper look into it. I love the orange case. Very cool. The outside can use a little bit of cleaning, but that's not the main part of this. On the cassette itself, you can see that there's some grime and stuff down here, a little bit on the face of it. The top here has got some yellow discolorations, which may just be something that happened over time. Hopefully I can clean that off. Then on the other side there appears to be some blue ink or something here. And that's something I'm hoping to clean off as well. I think it's really cool that the lead-in line, I think it's called, something like that, is a matching orange color. I've never seen that before on a cassette. I've seen some blue, clear, stuff like that, but a bright orange is very neat to me. Some more interesting stuff about this particular edition, when I was looking into it on Discogs, apparently this one is imported from Ireland. I am in the United States, and this is from Ireland. It says made in Ire down here, and I'm not just assuming because of that, but the only edition I could find that matched these particular things was an import from Ireland. Some differences in the versions, how this cover's like this. Some of them have a completely different cover. Other ones will have a version of this cover that's just in a small square up here with, I think, plain yellow down here, as well as the side of the J card here was different on a lot of them. Different fonts. Sometimes it would be a solid color background. So just more interesting details. And something else about this one that surprised me is a relic of the past. Now, I'm not familiar with Trax. I'm assuming it's a record store, or maybe it was a mail, through the mail sort of thing, like Columbia House here in the United States. But according to this, it says it has a 1-year tape guarantee. Any pre-recorded cassette or 8-track purchased from us is guaranteed for 1 year. We'll replace the tape at no extra charge during the first month. After that, there is a 50-cent service charge for each additional month. This sticker must be returned with the defective tape. So they make sure you're having to rip part of the J card to where you can't just cash in and resell a tape or something, I would assume. And down here, for the date purchased, it looks like it's 6/17/1982. And from what I can tell from the writing, it's a little hard to read here, but it looks like that price was $8.99. Maybe $8.69. Looks like it was scribbled really quick, but we're looking at something from 1982. So let's get into some cleaning. Alright, well first I'm just going to give a general cleaning to the outside. I'm going to go ahead and remove the J card. It's got some bends and stuff in it, as something from this long ago is going to have. Some creases and wear here. Small tear on the cover, that's kind of a bummer, but I'm guessing that it was improperly put in here because it looks like it lines up with one of the pegs. So I'm thinking somebody threw it in here haphazardly and had that happen. We'll go ahead and set that stuff aside, and this is what we're dealing with. And it's not too terrible, but there's definitely some gunk and stuff. I want to get this orange little sticker off of here. This sticker was actually on the cassettes that I got from the thrift store, so it's not an original sticker. If it was, I may have left it on, but I like to take that off. But let's see about cleaning this a bit. So I don't know what these discolorations inside are. If you can see that. Get a trusty blue background here, and you can kind of see the scuffs and marks up here and down here at the bottom. So I'm going to see about just a little bit of course, isopropyl alcohol to clean that up. Now I want to be careful because sometimes this can fog plastic. In this case, I'm going with the 70% instead of going with the 91, hoping that it'll be a little more gentle. But I think we can do something about this if it's even possible. So I have a trusty toothbrush here, as well as some Q-tips that I'll use. So let me get that going. Just going to get a little bit. Can't tell which side that's on. Or it may be scuffed. I'm not sure. Doesn't look like it's doing much so far. Maybe over here a little bit. Yeah, this is coming off over here. You can see it's kind of dirtying up the Q-tip here. Now, it's not the worst thing if I can't fix this. I have other ones I could just swap in. I'm sure. It looks like a pretty standard connection for a cassette lid. So I'll see what I can do about that. But some of this is coming off. I think some may be on the other side too, but I'm just going to give a general cleaning to this side. Get down in here. Yeah, it's definitely dirty in here. You can see right away. So I'm going to keep it that. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect that for easier access here. I love finding old cassettes at thrift stores because you can get them for next to nothing. I think when I got all these, they were 10 for $1. And I ended up getting like 15 of them, 16 of them or something. And they just gave them to me all for $1. They did not care. Whereas I was very happy. And it wasn't a bunch of stuff I was interested in. I'm not a big Poison fan or Rat fan. Or Winger. Sorry to any Rat, Poison, or Winger fans out there. I don't dislike them, but it's not something I would seek out. But when we're talking 10 for $1, I will pick those up. May try to trade them to a local record shop, get some credit, and get some other stuff that I care a little more about, but that's just a deal you can't really pass up. So this is having an effect in here. Not as drastic as I was hoping for, though. Not quite yet. But I just wanted to see what I was dealing with by going in here and trying a little bit and seeing what results I can get out of it. Yeah, I think most of that's on the inside, although there is some grime there that just came off on the outside. So you never really know. I don't think the toothbrush is going to be too harsh. I was a little concerned with it scratching and being too abrasive, but I think it'll be okay. Got some rubbing alcohol on the sticker. Oh, wow. It's actually taking the orange off of the sticker. That's pretty cool. Maybe that loosened it. Yeah, that definitely loosened it up a bit. Got a guitar pick here. Yeah, I don't know if that's the best choice. And good old fingernails and elbow grease is what we got to do. Left a little bit of residue. I think that'll come off with the Q-tip and a little bit of rubbing alcohol. Isopropyl sounds so official, but that's what it's called. It doesn't seem like this is fogging the case to clean either, so that's really good news. A little bit more of that residue. All right, I think I'm going to switch over to the toothbrush here. Give it a little dip. Tap the excess. Give it a once over. See if I can get the remainder of that glue residue off of here. Yeah, it's feeling better. Maybe a little bit on the corner, if that's even residue. Might just be a rough spot. A little bit of wear or something. No, it worked out. Feels good. All right. And while we're using this, go ahead and continue trying here. It's a very strange feeling, the texture of this brush on the plastic. It's such smooth plastic, so you're just gliding real quick. See if I can stuff this in here to work well enough. Trying to hit it at an angle a little bit. This particular toothbrush has these rubber sides on it, meant for cleaning gums and stuff. It helps sometimes in cleaning. I just happened to get a pack of these. They were like 5 for $1.25 at the local Dollar Tree one time, so I picked those up. If you can't tell already by my channel, I love a good deal. When I can get something cool for pretty cheap, I'll definitely jump on it, especially when it's something super functional. If you guys saw my video where I was making the back plate for a bass out of a record, I did that with my Dremel and some Dollar Tree nail files, and those nail files really help smooth down the edge. I think there's 4 of them in the pack. I got them for $1.25. So stuff like that I love finding. Anything that's a lot of utility. I don't know if this is going to clean up as well as I wanted it to. I'm not really getting more of an effect with this now. Let's get another Q-tip in here. Go over these spots. I'm going to flip it and give the other side a little more attention too. It feels like in the moment it's cleaning it up, but then I pull it away and it doesn't look like it is. And I think what's happening is the alcohol is giving the illusion of shine and clarity. Then when the alcohol dries, not so much shine and clarity anymore. But let's see what we can do. Does that come through on camera? See how clear that looks on the stripe I did? And then when that dries up, it goes back to not looking so sleek and clear. And videoing transparent things is not easy. So I'm hoping that this comes out somewhat decent. From what I can see on my camera, it is. But regardless, there's a lot of gunk and stuff coming off, even if I'm not getting some of these harsher spots. There's a lot of just gunk and stuff. And for something that is transparent to still look transparent and then have this on it, it's pretty crazy. So I'm going to keep at it a little bit more. I've got some just general paper towels as well that I'll probably do a once over with that. Again, this is a clear piece I could replace if I want to. So not a super big deal, but I would like to restore the original. There's something cool about having the original thing in the original thing. You know, things and things and things or something like that. All original. The edge here. A little bit of a chip right there. It's fun doing this because how often are you this focused on all the little nooks and crannies of something like a cassette tape front piece? You know, this is just a cassette shell. Who really cares ultimately? But it's fun when you put your attention on it. You really notice the design of things. The contour here is different on different tapes. It's just something interesting, especially when you get something orange. Anything orange is interesting. You can quote me on that. Hyphen Jeff Tinkers. Anything orange is interesting. Just gonna go ahead and start out with the brush right out. There's a lot less wrong with this side of things, other than the back. There's some grime and stuff here, but I think we can clean that up pretty easily. Yeah, there's something in there. Had to be cleaned up, dislodged. I'm not going to have the Q-tip doing the heavy lifting here. I'm just going to basically use this as a way to apply the alcohol and focus on some of the spots that need a little more, and then use the brush to do the rest of the work. I see some scratches and stuff. There's nothing I can do about those, but I'll clean what I can. Give this thing a little love. Yeah, that's some indented scratches here. Not sure how well the camera's picking that up, but there's some indented scratches on this piece. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. And nothing I can do about that. It's not even scratches, it's like little nicks or something. I wonder if that's from putting it in and out of a cassette holder at some point. And it's just fun to think about. I think that J card we looked at earlier said this thing was sold in 1982. You know, so we're looking at a 30-year-old piece of plastic right now that has been in cars and stereos and houses and thrown around. Came from Ireland apparently, and somehow ended up here in the United States on my workbench. So I'm grateful for that. Put this back together. So I don't know if it's a big improvement, but I cleaned what I could clean. So now we're on to the cassette. All right, so let's take a look at the cassette. On one side we have that ink I pointed out earlier and the general grime, the discoloration and all that. So I'll see what I can do. Another thing I want to try to do is it looks like the pad down here is still intact, but it's dirty on the other side. I don't think I've seen a pad that's dirty, and it may not be dirty. It might just be a discoloration from use. But I want to see if I can get at that for any kind of cleaning. I'm just going to gently pull the tape out a little bit here. And you can see the discoloration a bit in there. So I'm going to see if I can just clean that with a Q-tip real quick. I don't want a lot of alcohol. This one's still wet from earlier. I used the side that is not darkened with disgustingness. And give it a try. It's a little looser in there than I was expecting, but this is one of the ones on the spring, so it is going to move around a bit. If need be, I can replace this felt pad as well, but I don't think it cleaned up at all. I think that might just be wear, which is fine, but if I could have done something about it, I would have liked to. So on to cleaning the cassette. I'm going to start with the ink side. See what we can do about that blue ink up here. Just going to go with the brush to start with. Clean off the end of the brush a little bit just with the paper towel. Alright, that's a bit better. And I'm going to do the same thing I did before. Use the swab here to get it where I want. Now I want to be careful to not overdo it. I don't want to get too much alcohol on the label. You know, the opposite side is actually helping out more. This is like the tongue scraper portion of it. And that's actually helping out a bit more. To get that off of there. I don't want to go as harsh on the label because some of that ink is here on the label. See if I could do it with just what exists still. Very gentle. Small dot of rubbing alcohol. And very gentle. It's looking a bit better. It's not perfect yet. I still see a little bit of blue, but this tells me we're on to something here. I don't want to mess up this label. All right, we're getting there. And the smallest hint of blue on there that I don't think is a problem anymore. It's right above the A, right at the tip of this here. I don't think it's a big deal. Especially it being at the label's edge. I don't want to fray the label. That's why I'm pulling out and not pushing in. That way I'm not peeling the label. I think that's about as good as I'm going to get it without risking ruining some of that label there. So, I mean, but that's already a much bigger difference than I thought I could make that quickly. So now I'm going to clean the top here. Hopefully. That's the thing about some old plastics too, is they will discolor naturally because of the chemicals in them. Over time, they're exposed to heat, they're exposed to sunlight in cars. And you can do things like retro bright, which is, I think it's a form of peroxide solution, and I would have to disassemble this tape, which is, what do they call it? Something welded. Pressure welded? If you know, throw it in the comments. Some kind of welding. Vibration welded. But anyway, doesn't have screws for me to disassemble and just put the shell somewhere and clean it up. But if I could try the Retro Bright solution, which from my understanding, you take whatever plastic parts have discolored over time, you put those in the Retro Bright solution, you put that out in the sun for several hours, and it cleans up those discolorations. People do it with old Nintendos and pieces of audio equipment and stuff like that. Anything that's plastic and discolored over time. You'll see a lot of old things that used to be white and gray that are now yellow. And I'm having some effect up here, but not 100%. So I'm starting to suspect some of that yellowing is indeed the plastic itself over time. So might not be much I can do about it, but I am able to have some effect here. Especially on the edges. Yeah, definitely seeing some improvement here. Is this cassette tape ASMR? I think I need a better mic for that. It's like a tiny DJ. So I feel like that's a little better than it was for the yellow side of things. But you can be the judge of that. It's actually a really cool recording. I'm not sure if you saw earlier in the pamphlet, I didn't point out, the J card rather, that Ozzy's name is spelled Ossie. There we go. Ozzy Osbourne. So I thought that was interesting. I don't know if that's what he used to do and he changed the Z's. The S's were too tame, so he had to go with something more radical like Z's. And two of them side by side. What's more metal than that? Last letter of the alphabet, man. But I would be curious to know. I don't know a ton about Ozzy's lineage like that. I enjoy Black Sabbath. I enjoy some of Ozzy's solo stuff. Love Randy Rhoads' guitar playing and some of Ozzy's solo stuff, but outside of that, I don't know a ton about him. All right, I'm going to get the brush and try to work on this area here. Definitely some dirt and debris down here. So I'm basically using what little bit of alcohol remains in the brushes to apply it, and then that back scrubber part to get a little friction and try to get that out of there. And it seemed like it took that dirt spot out, but there is still the discoloration, which again I think I can only minimally affect right now. I hope it's just the alcohol here that's making some of this purple rub off when I'm using it, because if that comes off normally, if you're using it as a tongue scrubber, probably not good for you. But when you get things at the dollar store, you cannot expect very much. Keeping the bristles away from the tape, kind of leaning it forward. That also keeps the pressure up top where I'm trying to clean this off. But at the same time, I'm trying to not slip too far up and go into the label. Because again, label preservation. And make sure I don't get any excess anywhere I don't want it. Well, in terms of the dirt and grime that was down there, we definitely got that cleaned up more. I don't know. There's a little bit of stuff around the very corners of this window. Again, for label reasons, I don't want to go too crazy over here. I also want to don't mess up the spools. I don't want to do anything to mess up the spools, rather. And this is a thin piece of plastic in the middle. I don't know if that's always the case. I've never really studied that, but it feels more thin than I was expecting. I thought it would be more of a rigid plastic, but it almost feels just like a thick cellophane almost. All right, well, that's side 2. Got rid of the blue, so that alone I'm happy about. Cleaned up around the label, the grime and stuff here. A little bit of discoloration up here still, like a small black mark. I can hopefully do something about. And who knows how long this dirt and debris and whatever else this is has been on here. You know, this was sold in '82, but I don't know. It doesn't say on here that I see when it was actually released. So that might be something to look up later. But either way, this is possibly dirt and grime that's been on here for 30 years. Let's go to the other side here. Definitely a lot of dirt and stuff down here. This is the side that had more of that general, just like black grease or something. And it very well could be just somebody switching out tapes and throwing them in the console of their car back in the day. Yeah, this is coming off, so that's good. Very happy to see that. I'm going to squeeze out the excess on this. Try to just control where the rubbing alcohol goes a little more. Because if it drips and runs too much, it's going to go down into the tape. Right now, it's just kind of staying where I need it to stay. Typically, I work with 91%. For the alcohol, I went with the 70 this time just to be a little more gentle, especially on the transparent pieces, but I figured just in general, it might be more forgiving if I hit the label a little bit or anything that I don't want to do. 70 versus 91. Now, I believe this might introduce a little more water to the mix. I think that's part of what the difference is. So that means it's going to evaporate slower. Again, could be wrong about all this, but that's just my understanding. So I also don't mind that because I'm only working on outside plastic. If I was working on electronics, I would want that to be evaporating much quicker than that. Go up here to the top of the shell. Some general cleaning. See some dirt and stuff around the outside here. I don't want to douse it with alcohol or anything. I'm going to see if I can just sort of push it away with the guitar pick. And it looks like that is doing the trick. Little bits of dirt around that edge. So I loosened it with a guitar pick and it seems like it's just coming out. And the other side's got a little bit. It's primarily in these corners, so I wonder if it's debris of a machine or something. You would think it would be a little more uniform than this otherwise. There we go. That's cleaning up nice. Great. It's looking much better. Still got some work to do down here at the bottom now that that last bit of alcohol is dried. I'm going to make a second pass at it. Try to wring out some of the excess. Okay. I think that's probably as good as I can get it. Give the label a general rub. And I don't have alcohol on this right now. It's dry. I'm just trying to see, there's a little bit of dirt and stuff. If just wiping it and focusing on that spot's okay. I don't want to fade the label at all or do anything like that. Same thing on this side. This one also has a little bit of grime up in the corner on this side. So some of this discoloration I'm just going to have to live with. Maybe one day I'll figure out how to get this apart and I'll try retrobrighting or doing the homemade version with some hydrogen peroxide. Otherwise, I think that's about all I can do here. Just a spot there. But I think it's looking much better. Getting that blue off of there helped a lot. All the grime and stuff that was around the bottom. This looks pretty good down here. Be very careful around this tape. And so yeah, I think that's what I can do with it for now. Just got it into a little bit better shape. I'm gonna put the J card in here. I don't think it's anything drastic that I've done, but I do think it's a bit of an improvement for sort of an interesting piece in my cassette collection here. Imported from Ireland, from what I understand. So thank you for watching. If you like watching this kind of thing, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. And I'll be back with more videos of varying kinds. I'm sure you can tell already from my past posts. Everything from fixing electronics to cleaning electronics to cassette tape repair and all that stuff. So if you like that kind of thing, come join me for the ride. I don't know what all I'll make, but I'd be happy for you to check it out.